Hey everybody, Chris here, Four Directions Bushcraft. I just wanted to talk real quick about that Alone show. I follow a couple guys on there, actually a few guys on there. The Joe Robinette, he tapped out, he had a rough time. Lost his fire steel, bad news. Could have made char cloth. Could have done a few other things, but he tapped out. And then a couple other guys. Mitch, Native Survival, he's still in. But anyway, I don't like to give my opinion because my opinion doesn't matter. And I wasn't out there, you know. People that are sitting home watching obviously aren't out there, so they don't know exactly what's going on. So to pass judgment, oh, he tapped out. I could have made it, you know, if they would give me the chance, I could make it. You never know until you're sitting out there, that's for sure. But I do feel that he could have done a couple other things, maybe. But besides just doing a couple other things, you know, like Joe Robinette's case or Joe Robinette's scenario, he could have made charred cloth, you know. If he had a carbon steel blade, he could have started fires that way. He already had a fire going. But, you know, you don't know until you're out there, that's for sure. So he did really good, in my opinion, just for going out there, doing that, you know. I mean, takes a lot to do that. But, you know, when you go out there, if I were to go out there, you have to almost forget society and almost forget everything in it and how you used to live and the luxuries you used to have. You have to go out there and become one and make yourself a home out there. No matter how long it takes, you know. Again, to do that is a lot easier said than done. But I just wanted to give kind of my opinion about it. It's a great show. My 10 items, you know, I'm not going to go through that because my 10 items are going to be similar to everybody else's 10 items, you know. The 5 C's of survival, all that. Probably a couple other things I would bring to secure food with, maybe. But anyway, it's a great show. Those guys on there are really great, even the ones that tapped out. Doesn't matter to me. All of them are brave. All of them are awesome. I strive to be every one of them. They're really good guys, and you know, before anybody passes judgment on them or anything like that, you got to put yourself in that situation before you do that. So, you know, a lot of that situation is adapting and overcoming. I do a lot of that at my work now. As a paramedic, we go into situations we don't know really what's going on. You got to adapt and overcome and solve a problem. A lot of them are obviously emergency situations. Without there, like with the Alone, I keep, you know, obviously using that as a reference. With the Alone and all them guys out there, you know, like Mitch made that boat. He had to find water. He had to secure water, man. That was awesome. That was really awesome how he did that, you know. And I learned a lot from that guy, man. Look his channel up, Native Survival. Anyway, you know, a lot of living in nature, even out here in the woods. I know where my truck's at, no big deal, okay, so it's different. But, you know, if you were out there, you'd have to adapt and overcome. Joe Robinette lost that fire steel, you know. He could have adapted and overcame, maybe, his situation, you know. He could have made char cloth. He could He could have done a few other things, maybe, you know. Of course, he wasn't as established as some of the other guys are right now. You know, he got soaking wet that first day. He was basically being chased down by a bear. I understand. So, but, you know, moving on, that Lucas, he seems to be doing really well. He was going to build a cabin, get established, you know, have 4 walls around him. See, that would have been great, you know. I guess the clay wasn't very good, so he was afraid that it wouldn't hold up, making a fireplace and all that around, you know, around him. He's still out there, so he may find something that works. But in his scenario, I would have built the cabin anyway. You know, you cut down all them trees, expended all them calories and all that energy. You got to build that thing, build it up. You got 4 walls around you. You're away from the elements, away from bears, you know. You can store food in there. Probably want to store it up still, but anyway, there's a lot of things that I might have done, and that's what makes the show so interesting. You know, you sit there and you watch it, and you're like, oh, I could have done that. I might have done that. That's a good idea if I ever need to do that. You know, like make that boat or whatever. But again, remember, it's always easier when you're sitting on your couch and you're watching that and you're going, oh man, I would have done that. I would have done that. Oh man, he's not very good, you know, because I could have done that differently. Don't ever pass judgment, and just learn from those guys, man. Them guys are good that go out there. Cole Craven, bushcraft. He tapped out because a bear was right outside of his camp. It actually chased him down, is what he said. He yelled bear at it, but I guess the bear just kept coming. So scary situation, you know. I don't know really what I would have done if I was in that same situation, you know. Probably crap my pants. But fire harden a spear, fire harden 5 spears, set them up in front of your camp. You'd almost have to declare a war on that part of the woods. You know, those are some of the ways that I would have probably combated that. All of that is a mental game too, you know. You're out there alone in the dark, bears right outside of your tent. Shit, yeah, man. Crapping down each leg. Definitely. That's definitely a pucker factor time right there. But adapt and overcome, control your mind is the biggest thing about survival. If you cannot control your mind, you're going to lose every time. Again, easier said than done. Sitting on that couch, no big deal. Out there on the ground there in the bush, it's unforgiving there. So again, could I do it? I don't know. I'd have to put myself in that situation, but I very much commend those guys for doing that. Anyway, enough rambling. This is Chris, 4 Directions Bushcraft. Great show, the Alone series, episode 3 just played. Check it out, and check those guys out if you're not already subscribed to them on YouTube. Anyway, thanks for your views, comments, and support, and guys, have fun out there.